The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
Summer, summer, summer of 86 at 40.
Welcome back to the Brandon Peters Show in the summer of 1986 at 40. A look back at the films that populated theaters across the United States 40 years ago and the pop culture that surrounded them. And joining me as always from Puck News and the Outside Scoop, which this week is About Last Scoop. Enjoy one of our famous root beer floats, half off. Scott Mendelson.
Always a pleasure. Good to be back. Yeah, all is well.
Another week. Another slate. And from We Live Entertainment, out now with Aaron and Abe, and two black guys talk Godzilla. You know what old Jack Burton says about him, Aaron Neuwirth.
You know, guys, I feel pretty good. I'm not scared at all. I just feel kind of invincible.
There we go. This episode will cover the weekend that was July 4th through 6th, 1986. A note up front. Under the Cherry Moon opens this weekend on July 3rd, but we will be covering it next week. So all you Cherry Mooners that are like, where is it? It's next week, okay?
Calm down.
Chill.
Yeah.
You'll get your full moon when we bare ass in front of the camera.
And guys, going into this one...
Promises, Scott Mendelson. Promises.
Guys, going into this one, I gotta say, feeling pretty good. A couple weeks in a row. We're stringing together along.
I have a very positive attitude about this week.
Yeah, very positive. Very, very positive. So, as we do, let's start up with the news. News.
My fellow Americans, in a few moments, the celebration will begin here in New York Harbor. It's going to be quite a show. I was just looking over the preparations and thinking about a saying that we had back in Hollywood about never doing a scene with kids or animals because they'd steal the scene every time. So you can rest assured, I wouldn't even think about trying to compete with a fireworks display, especially on the 4th of July.
On June 30th, the Georgia sodomy law is upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court 5-4.
I'm sorry. The what?
The Georgia sodomy law is held up by the U.S. Supreme Court.
No notes.
5-4. That would be 9.
17 years.
5
17
is one
years
less
later,
than
it gets
6.
struck down.
I wish it was like 6-9. That would have been a fun vote, right?
That's right, my brother.
Yeah. All right. July 2nd, Boston Red Sox pitcher Roger Clemens, who was 14-0, suffers his first loss, 4-2 versus Toronto, 1 win short of the AL record for consecutive wins to start the season.
He was punished with the Massachusetts sodomy law.
Yes.
May God have mercy on your soul.
There's Roger Clemens' nickname was the Rocket, and there's some awful Challenger joke you could make somewhere in there about his thing coming to an end. But
I know the Red
we're
Rocket.
not going to do it.
Button.
We're not
The
going to
Red
do
Rocket
it.
was involved in some of the sodomy law.
July 2nd, general strike against Pinochet regime in Chile. July 3rd, United States President Ronald Reagan.
Heard of him. The actor?
The actor? Presides over relighting of renovated Statue of Liberty. We'll have more on that later in the show. July 4th, Farm Aid 2 benefit concert held in Manor, Texas. Performers include the trio at the time of the board, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, and Neil Young, along with Waylon Jennings, Bob Dylan, the Beach Boys, Nicolette Larson, Los Lobos, and Steve Earle. I believe I went to Farm Aid in 2023 here recently. It's a fun day, huh?
Just more Farm Aids. All
Yeah,
right.
we had a surprise performance by Bob Dylan. He came out late in the night and
Hey,
he did 3 songs with the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty's band, and it was a thing that sounds cooler than what it
American
like
Girl.
when you get into the
What
night of
twist.
Farm Aid. As you progress through, they get older and older, and
Young at heart.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, once you get past the Dave Matthews and Tim Reynolds portion, you get John Mellencamp, who has no voice anymore, and you're followed by Neil Young, who doesn't give a shit, and then they wheel out Willie Nelson. They wake him up and wheel him out to go play and Farm Aid. But Margot Price, wonderful musician. It is what it is.
That's so punk.
I think
Huh?
of Willie Nelson as like Grandpa in a Texas Chainsaw movie.
I want to live I want to live as long as Willie Nelson. Like that. Like, well, what happened? Like they put him out here. He's talking, and then like he was playing a song, and he was strumming off. It was bad, and his son went over and turned him down, turned him off. So it's like, oh boy.
I miss his days as a convicted felon and thief.
Yes, yeah. Oh, Willie. Willie's a kick-ass dude, though. Mad respect for Willie Nelson.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Except, sorry, Spielberg. Didn't mean to, but he listens. I didn't want. He's like, enough of this Willie shit. Go back to joking about him. So anyway, July 5th, inaugural edition of Goodwill Games opens in Moscow, USSR. USSR.
Back in the USSR?
Back in the
Lucky you
USSR.
are.
Thank you.
Also, July 5th, Nancy Reagan cuts
The
a
actor's
red-
wife?
The actor's wife cuts a red, white, and blue ribbon to open the Statue of Liberty after refurbishment. July 5th, Wimbledon's tennis. Martina Navratilova beats Hannah Mandelikova 7-6, 6-3 for her 7th Wimbledon singles title.
That can't be. Her name is Mandelikova.
Yeah,
Okay,
Mandelikova.
fine.
That's why I preferred men's tennis back in the day.
Maybe it was
Names like Boris
Mandelikova.
Becker were easier to say.
It was. Oh, it's okay. Mandli with the tilde, Kova tilde.
Mandelikova. That's her.
Mandelikova
Okay, got it.
versus Navratilova.
And she
All
never
right.
did Tilova, so there.
Yes. On July 6th, Atlanta infielder Bob Horner becomes the 11th player to hit 4 home runs in a Major League Baseball game during the Braves' 11-8 loss versus Montreal.
Show off.
4 home runs.
What
in a
happens when your
loss.
best just isn't good enough?
Right. So the best
Again?
game. So best game of my life. Yeah, we got our ass kicked. No. July 6th, ex-minister Arturo Tolentino failed a coup in the Philippines.
Failed it. Okay.
That one happened on July 6th. Just July 6th.
Got it.
Yep.
6th.
6th of
Coup.
J month. All right. Deaths.
Remember the 6th of July?
Yeah.
Yep.
No, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Deaths this week. Actor Roy Poole, baseball player Peanuts Lowry, singer Rudy Vallee, mathematician Oscar Zariski, organist Flor Peters, no relation. Just putting that out there. And Indian independence activist and politician Jagjivan Ram. We have birthdays this week. Major League Baseball All-Star Charlie Blackmon, singer Takahisa Masuda, singer Adam Young, the founder of Tumblr, David Karp, Italian politician Luigi Di Maio, and Lindsay Lohan.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Saw her in a Blockbuster video one time.
What
Yep.
was she renting?
Well, it was
9.5 weeks.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. So I was going to return a movie and rent a movie. And as I'm pulling up the Blockbuster, This is 2008. This is like summer of 2000. Like,
We know who killed her.
yeah, the place is surrounded by like paparazzi. You see the and I was like, oh shit. And I went in, and there's a Blockbuster employee walking around with a piece of cardboard that's like really tall to like block and stuff. And this is when she was dating that one girl, and they're walking around there. And they kept walking, like I kept running into their section. I'm like, God, I'm gonna fucking look like a stalker and incident. But there was a guy, there was a photographer who fucking Spider-Man down from a tree to get a picture. Like he came upside down. It was like it was nuts. And she picked up her movie Just My Luck or whatever, and it was in the tabloids like the next day. And she'll like Perez Hilton or whatever those shit. Remember those shitty sites? Journalism. Those journalism sites.
Those were the days.
Yeah. But enough about 18 years ago. How about last night? Our first movie. Playing in only 642 theaters.
Best thing that can happen to you, Danny, is an industrial accident.
It's about men.
Hi.
It's about women.
Her big move should be coming up any moment. Combination hair flip with a giggle. Yes! Bravo! Yeah, I know!
It's about sex.
I was pretty drunk last night. Did anything happen?
No, absolutely nothing. Want to do it again?
It's about strategy.
You called her twice? Dan, never call a broad more than once a week. Never, ever, ever.
It's about risk.
I think maybe you ought to have a drawer over here.
A drawer? A whole drawer?
It's about friendship.
I'm moving in with Danny. I'll give you 2 months.
You don't go here, you don't go there. You're as much fun as a stick.
It's about words.
I love you, Danny.
Who said it first?
I did.
Oh, Dan.
It's about honesty.
Did you sleep with him?
No, Dan, we were bowling partners.
It's about commitment.
I love you.
It'll pass!
No, it won't.
It's about romance.
And you are a psychopathic, schizophrenic, maladjusted social misfit.
So you want to dance or what?
It's about last night. Starring Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Jim Belushi, and Elizabeth Perkins. About last night.
Directed by Edward Zwick, who will go on to Glory. He produces 30-something. He does Legends of the Fall, Courage Under Fire, The Last Samurai, and written by Tim Kazurinsky, who was more known as an actor and he was an SNL cast member at this time. Carl Sweetchuck, also writer on. He played Carl Sweetchuck in the Police Academy movies, and then Denise DeClue, also a writer on this, and it's based on the play Sexual Perversity in Chicago by David Mamet, and it stars Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, Jim Belushi, Millie Bobby Brown, Elizabeth Perkins, because they look exactly like. I was like, damn.
A little bit, sure. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
you.
totally. Megan Mullally, Catherine Keener, Chicago singles, Meet in a Bar, Live Together and Call It Love. And just composed by Miles Goodman, who did Skate Town USA, High School USA, the Poison Ivy TV movie.
USA.
Yeah. Teen Wolf, Little Shop of Horrors, Like Father, Like Son, Problem Child, What About Bob, Blankman. Blankman.
It counts?
Blankman. And, Aaron wanted me to mention Dunstan Checks In.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Paul Rubens at his finest.
And then we have it shot
That was a
by...
movie I haven't thought about in a long time.
Jason Alexander with hair.
Yeah. We have the cinematography by Andrew Dintemfoss, and this is his first feature film, and he is just loaded with music videos. That's pretty much who he is. This was originally a Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi movie. Then it became a short-lived Nick Nolte, Bill Murray movie, but those two didn't like each other during their reading processes, and they tossed that idea out.
That tracks.
And Demi Moore won this role over Phoebe Cates. Julia Louis-Dreyfus auditioned for it as well. But she was auditioning for the Elizabeth Perkins role. So Scott, tell us about last night.
So I assume Demi Moore took the Nick Nolte role.
Yeah,
That's why she always speaks in a deep voice with a
it was
gargle.
going to be Phoebe Cates after Nolte, and then she beat.
Why do you love me?
No, I was always aware of this one, but I had not seen it until relatively recently. It's probably my second time watching it, and I like it. I think I understand why it was somewhat, I don't want to say groundbreaking because it wasn't, but it was somewhat, oh, this feels authentic and honest and relatively adult in a way that isn't overly salacious. It's more of an acting treat conversational movie than I was expecting the first time. I mean, for a while, it's like, is this like going to be like just conversation, several conversations over and over again until the movie ends? And that's not a criticism because the actors are all terrific. And yes, it's based on a play, yada yada yada.
A Mamet play, no less, known for his dialogue.
Oh yes,
yes.
yes. And yeah, it's always fun to see Demi Moore when she was frankly just a quote unquote regular workaday actress before she became somewhat of a superstar. She's very good. I've always felt that she was an excellent actress. Even that kind of got overshadowed by the bombshell aspect. Oh well. I've always enjoyed James Belushi as just a character actor. I knew who he was before I knew who John was, just by happenstance. Because I would see him in stuff.
He had a longer career.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I mean, did Jim Belushi die in like 82, 83?
John died.
What did I say?
You said Jim.
Oh, okay. Yeah, John. Jim. Sorry.
John, it's 82 or 3?
Oh yeah, so he wasn't even on. Obviously,
March 5th, 82.
82. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So in terms of present and stuff, obviously, I was paying attention to James Belushi. Again, I just it's well shot and well made without necessarily calling attention to itself in any particular way. It is an acting treat, and it's the kind of thing that like you could see sort of the seeds for a stereotypical HBO series, not just Sex and the City, although that's an obvious comparison because it's 20-something people talking very frankly about sex and relationships, but it does feel sort of in a good way like what we consider to be sort of a prestige cable TV show aimed at adults. Beyond that, while there is a share of sex and nudity, that it doesn't use that to compensate for deficiencies elsewhere. I think it's just a solid character piece that holds up because it's not trying to be the most or biggest or first of anything. It's just good.
Aaron?
I'm a bit mixed on this one. Like it's the first time I've seen the original. I saw the remake first, which I quite like, actually. I have it right here with the black remake. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. So I've always wanted to see the original one just because like I like David Mamet and I like his work. So, but knowing that it wasn't like him adapting his own thing and it was like someone else adapting his words, I was like, okay, so how's this gonna go? And knowing that it's from like comedy writers, like, okay. So watching it, I can agree that I appreciate that it's frankness about relationships or what have you. The issue I run into is it feels like it goes back and forth between being organic feeling in its acting and presentation of the dialogue versus being very stagey. I think whenever Belushi's around, it feels very stagey in a way that I often feel Belushi can be when it comes to him playing some of these character parts. I like Belushi well enough,
Didn't
but
Belushi
I do
do
think
the play? I believe.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
I think he'd come from doing the play, and that was part of his hesitancy at taking this role.
And I think that can give you problems when it comes to doing a movie version because it's like, are you trying to balance doing that theatrical version, which seems very big and just frankly not human anymore? It seems very theatrical. And that's what it feels like watching this movie. It feels like every time he speaks, he's like shouting to everybody as you would in a play. It doesn't quite apply to cinematic sense here. So I was kind of mixed on like his character because he's the more outlandish character. He's the one that's more gregarious and bigger and like the whole opening like 20 minutes of this movie, he's telling this big sexual escapade story. And I'm just thinking, no one would ever talk like this loud in front of all these people just because they feel like they've conquested. It just feels ridiculous. Granted, it's a movie, it's heightened. I understand that. But at the same time, like, if this is supposed to be my best friend, I wouldn't want this person as my best friend. Like, that's my takeaway. Meanwhile,
Fair.
the Rob Lowe, Demi Moore stuff, I think is good enough. The issue I have is I think Rob Lowe is an okay actor, and I think Demi Moore is fine. Is this leagues better than St. Elmo's Fire from the previous year? Fucking yes. Yes, it is, because that movie's awful. I don't care what anyone says. It's a terrible movie. If you want to talk about people that sound like aliens coming to Earth and saying dialogue, watch St. Elmo's Fire.
It's got a cool song, though.
Sure.
Yeah, the song fucking rocks.
Congratulations to the 80s. You had a good soundtrack.
John Parr is St. Elmo's Fire.
But so like
sounds like someone's got a heart made of steel, made of stone.
By comparison, this is a rather big upgrade. I agree with that quite a bit. I so like yeah, and that's the core relationship, Demi Moore and Rob Lowe's characters. So like I can go along with a lot of what they're doing there. Watching it now, like Scott, you already said, like it's not quite revolutionary, but it certainly has a certain authenticity it's trying to go for, which is like I could at the time, I guess I could see that compared to the other kinds of R-rated romantic comedies coming out at that time. I can understand this feeling different. It still feels theatrical to me in a way that's not necessarily a detriment, but it does. It runs into when you have actors that I don't think are necessarily like giving like A+ performances. Some things like stand out to me as far as how line readings just basically function that just feel wrong in my head versus like what a better version of this would be. So it's like it's not necessarily a fault of the film. It's just more I like it fine. I feel like I could see this done better. Again, am I at a weird like a weird place because I seen the remake first and I saw this version? I suppose, but at the same time, they're very different movies. I mean, so it's not like it's like I can't possibly see the value in this one versus the other. But that other one feels less theatrical. It feels more like a movie with characters that speak like people, as opposed to people that's reading lines that come from a theatrical telling that have been turned into a movie. So regardless, I think this movie it's good enough. It's certainly not a bad movie. It's well made. The actors are doing what they can. I'm a big Mamet guy, so anytime you're trying to like adapt his words, I always find that to be intriguing enough on its own. And it uses the city well enough too. Like it's a good looking like movie as far as people like being around a city and having, different locations to go to and whatnot. So like I thought it was fine.
Yeah, 2 weeks, 2 Chicago movies.
Yeah,
one
exactly.
in the winter, one in the summer, like
Yeah.
or one throughout the year. Like it's kind of like that's what I'm saying. Chicago was, they wanted to show the city, they do all the things. I never saw this movie before this one. This episode, I enjoyed it. Thought it was. I didn't think it was. I thought it was good, not great, but it didn't need to be great. Did what it did. Feels like a sort of a breakthrough in this type of genre that others would do better or milk off of a little bit. That I kind of like. Like I felt like, man, watching this, I thought Jim Belushi had a real Jason Lee energy at times. Like what Jason Lee would become, and it was strange. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing this, and then this one also had like the same solution as like She's Out of My League, many moons down, where it's like we're shitty friends, we should help out. But it's just kind of like the movie. I think you can get lost where you go through these tropes of they're gonna have a fight or how ugly can it get and. It just it's a relationship that it wears on the characters as much as it wears on the audience when you're watching it throughout the film. But I was enjoying seeing people. I think this is, I mean, not that it's a big roster of things to boast, but this is definitely Demi Moore's best 80s movie probably.
Yeah.
And performance, and I thought she was quite good here, better than I was anticipating for this time. She ends up, I mean, she really hits a stride being like a much better performer in the 90s, and starting with her Tales from the Crypt in 1990. She's really good in that. I watched that one. I've seen that one quite a few times.
This eclipses Blame It on Rio and Nothing But Trouble.
Nothing But Trouble, One Crazy Summer. Like
you take that back, Aaron. You take that back now.
You
no.
I'm still waiting for the Nothing But Trouble commentary on Out Now with Aaron and Abe. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants that one.
Oh God.
It's like
even when I was 11, it was like this film is
interesting.
fucked.
Yeah, it was wild. Like I've always told the story.
It scared me when I was a child. That's what it did.
I didn't know if it was a horror movie or what. Like I went to it when I was in elementary school. I always tell the story. I think it was in 3rd or 4th grade. I went to some kid's birthday party and we went to a gym and played basketball for most of the night. And then we went back and his dad wanted us to watch Nothing But Trouble. His dad loved the movie, laughed his ass off at like everything. And I'm like,
he's the one.
He's weird. Is this what adults like? Do adults like these kind of movies? Like.
Penis nose and all that.
Yeah, it was weird. Like he liked the part where the guy called the cop a chicken shit or something like that. I was just like, this guy's dad was just loose. He was just like, and he'd seen the movie before, and he was like, oh man, you guys, and he's showing these boys.
Wait, you see the twins?
Nothing But Trouble, and I'm like, what is this? And I was like, it was madness. That movie's always been madness. I'm proud to own it. I think,
and your friend's dad name was Chevy Chase.
Yeah, his name was Chevy Chase. So yeah, no, this one's not as wild as that one, but I would, so I'm watching this movie, and I had a quick thought of myself of like, how did young me not know that like Demi Moore, like she gets naked in this movie, like. How was this not? No young boy knew this to have this on the radar back then, pre-internet stuff. But like, that would have been a crazy thing. But no, yeah, this is Rob Lowe's fine. He does a lot of stuff in the 80s where I'm just like, he's a pretty face, and
yep,
like he's one of those guys that got better when he hit 40 and started putting stronger stuff. Like his work in Parks and Recreation is phenomenal.
I'm trying to think of like good dramatic low. Like West Wing obviously is obviously a high point for him, but like
where he's sort of like he's old enough that he can act again. Or they can, yes, you're right. I like the show. I only ran for like a season where it's like
the show he left West Wing for.
It was Fred Savage.
Oh, that show. Oh, the Grinder.
Yeah,
the Grinder.
The Grind that ruled. I love the Grinder. I was sad that got canceled. And I like the show with him and his son on Netflix that was on there too. But this is all comedy. Like he's good at comedy. That's not like a mystery to me. What's good dramatic low outside of West Wing? That's my question.
He was in Contact.
Is he?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He's the Rick Santorum wannabe back when that was scary and weird, like outside the main.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. He's not into that much.
Oh, he did The Stand. If you're comedy. Well, yeah, we discover he's great at comedy because Wayne's World comes out and he does Tommy Boy. Like he's definitely
he's like an SNL adjacent guy for a while.
Like, that's what. Yeah, he's definitely in the. He becomes like the Paul Rudd of the '90s, basically.
Yeah, he's a straight man amidst a lot of things, and
it's like, oh, okay.
He's like Austin Powers and all, So
yes, yeah. So he gets on the Lorne Michaels.
I don't know if the show. God help me, I don't know if even show's still on, but I know he was the lead of 911 Texas something or.
He's in one of the 911.
Oh yeah,
that's a dramatic thing he does. I'm sure it's super.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's
he's fine. We watched the first couple seasons.
He did the best Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
TNT knows drama, so they know Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
But no, and Jim Belushi, I've never been like a big Jim Belushi hater. Like I know that that's a thing. The social media people, Jim Belushi.
It's easy to beat up on him for whatever reason, which is unfortunate because But I feel like he doesn't care since he's been wildly successful for over 4 decades.
Right.
So
I've never like watched his sitcoms or anything, but he shows up in a movie, I'm not offended. And like he was in Song Sung Blue, and he was like a lovable little character that believed.
That's the thing. I feel like he's always in and out for me. Like I think when he plays more, like he's in what's that? He's in the one Woody Allen Wonder Wheel, where he seems so out of place to me in that film, and I'd be like, I want to like you. There's something about like when he goes more theatrical, he's just like I don't know. It can kind of be weird for me sometimes, but other times like Song Sung Blue is a perfect example. He's a perfectly good character actor in that movie. He's very fun in that movie, and like genuine.
And then he's doing like his 80s is wildly all over the place.
Yeah,
he's got like Thief and Red Heat.
Because he's like this weird space where he's not fat, but he's not skinny. So like he could be a buddy cop co-star in an action movie, I guess, or he could be in a gritty crime drama. I suppose.
Men with John Ritter.
Or he could be in comedies, or he could be
he's got enough charisma that he could be a romantic lead in the right script.
He's like a weird Swiss knife.
Oh, and he's doing Saturday Night Live too. Like I forgot. Yeah, he does like.
Yeah, he does go to SNL. Yeah,
he
so
does
it's
go to
like
SNL. Like he's all and he does fairy tale theater. Like he's all over the place. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to find myself. Who I don't want to be my brother. I want to be Jim Belushi. So it's kind of fun. And then he starts doing like kid cop movies, right? Like
he's in not Cop and a, is it
K9
Cop and a Half or
something?
K9?
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds is Cop and a Half. Who could forget?
Yeah.
he's K9. Yes.
Cop and a Half. So yeah, it's
and of course he's in Wag the Dog, begging his Albanian brothers to stop the war.
Right.
Oh God, yes.
Yep.
That's one of the funnier scenes of that movie.
So right on. So yeah,
you mentioned people online, like, why do they have an opinion of him at all? Is it just because of according to Jim?
Yes, largely. I think it's like it became like a punchline. Probably because like some TV show did it, and then like they became like a thing. Like, oh yeah, that the TV show did.
There's probably a joke on Family Guy, and people are like, "That's how people are. That's how I'm supposed to think."
It's probably something exactly that, and then they've latched onto that as like a calling card for what they can regard Jim Belushi as.
Yeah, because like I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just kind of weird because it's like, oh, all right. Like, I don't watch those type of shows, but like also people don't realize when you get to a certain age, like I remember listening to an interview with David Koechner, like the sitcom, once you're like older, have a family and stuff, that's the goal. Like you want the 9 to 5 studio Monday through Friday job. Like you can have breakfast with your family, you go to work, you come home, you know, like that's what you want.
Is Koechner not a sitcom?
No, Koechner, I was listening to an interview with him. I forget where it was, but like he was talking about like, I want to get a sitcom. Like that's what I'm hoping for right now. Like that in my career, I'd love to land a sitcom, and at least have. It is like
he would fit very perfectly into like some random sitcom as like The Boss.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah, he'd fit very well. So, but that's kind of a thing people don't realize. Like they're human beings.
Yeah.
They might be family people, but
they want to be fiscally responsible.
Yeah, fiscally responsible, spend time with their families, things like that. Like it's who knew?
Assured paychecks.
Yeah, assured paychecks.
Insurance, health insurance.
It used to be syndication, but no, that's gone through the window now too. But yeah, that's
about last night.
About last night. So right. Just like those sitcoms and stuff, we will go to a commercial break. For an ad break, right? So we'll do that. This week's ad. Got a very special one for y'all.
Oh, God.
They're all very special.
Hope it's Scruff McGruff, the crime dog.
When searching for the
crime dog killed my father.
Toys,
oh, God. What is this?
Lost.
Oh, no, she's stuck.
Stores have you going in circles.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be there either.
Well, you'll discover our low price and ideal stalking friend.
It's me,
what?
Big Bird.
Ah!
For 54.
This is worse than Jack Torrance
It's
coming
like
out
$1
of that
million
days.
in today's money.
Imagine that.
So escape the high cost of toys. Come to Children's Palace and discover how much less toys can cost.
All right.
Okay, so
Children's Palace.
Do you remember Children's Palace?
Toys R Us. That was my toy store for a while.
That was mine too for a long time, and then
they kept you out of the maze.
Somewhere in the early '90s, they went out of business, I believe. Yeah,
Toys R Us kicked their ass.
Yeah, I love Children's Palace. Ours, they had the big towers on the side of the building, and then those. They went. There was this apartment complex in where I live, and they had a pond, and on the other side of the pond, you could see the Children's Palace things were there for like 15 years. They were sitting there, waiting. I just collecting dust. But Children's Palace, I remember I bought some of my real Ghostbusters toys there. I got like Transformers there, a Light Bright there. Like that was the toy store. And then I believe our Children's Palace became a Best Buy after, and then that Best Buy moved to a different place and became a Borders. And you don't know what it is. I don't live in Fort Wayne anymore, but yeah, Children's Palace, that was like the place to go.
I only knew KB toys when I was young.
So that was the mall one. So KB was the smaller, the mall.
Yeah.
So we had KB toys. And then we had Toys R Us and Children's Palace, and then always near the the Toys R Us was the Kids R Us. That was,
I knew the Toys for the Kids, the KB Toys, and then there was like FAO Schwartz in the very, very fancy place where I'm like, oh, no one's allowed to go in there. Too much.
Yeah. We also, I mean, not Toys R Us, but they had a pretty solid toy section. We had a place called Service Merchandise. And the thing with Service Merchandise is like you would get something and it would come out a conveyor belt from the warehouse to the cashier. Yeah. But Children's Palace, I don't remember I would if someone could have a walkthrough video of one, I'd like, because like I don't remember it being as flashy looking as Toys R Us.
Sure,
it wasn't, but it was still a pretty impressive toy store.
Yeah, I remember they had like
ruined by the Goblin King.
At the front, they had the big net thing that had like the balls and stuff in it in the front. But, yeah, it was like that was right up in the front, and
we need an action movie to take place there.
Yeah,
sounds like it'd be fun.
Children's Palace, yeah.
By the way, $55 adjusted for inflation would be $163 for that Big Bird.
It's a Big Bird.
It was a Big Bird knockoff of Teddy Ruxpin. That's what it is. Yes. That was what Teddy Ruxpin was, and they're like, okay, Sesame Street's like, we can do that with Big Bird.
And they were right.
They were right. So yeah, I probably got my Teddy Ruxpin from Children's Palace back in the day. Like that's one place I'm like, wow, people probably forgot that exists or don't even remember.
That's me. I don't know.
Yeah. That's why I threw it in here. I'm like, I wonder if Aaron's heard of Children's Palace.
Yeah, if I have no memory of Children's Palace.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Only in legend.
Only in legend. Like Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China, playing in 1,053 theaters.
Remember the name Jack Burton.
Who? Jack Burton. Me.
Where's Jack?
Jack!
Everybody relax, I'm here.
How are you gonna spring us? I have no idea.
He's coming to rescue your summer.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
Big Trouble in Little China. Rated PG-13. Starts Wednesday, July 2nd at a theater near you.
Directed by John Carpenter, coming off of Starman. Written by Gary Goldman of Total Recall, Navy SEALs, and Next. And David Z. Weinstein. And adapted by W.D. Richter, him of Nickelodeon, John Badham's Dracula, and Needful Things. This one stars Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, James Hong, Victor Wong, and Kate Burton. No relation to Jack Burton. Rough and tumble trucker and his sidekick face off with an ancient sorcerer in a supernatural battle beneath Chinatown. This one is composed by John Carpenter and Alan Howarth and shot by Dean Cundy. This is his last one he shot with John Carpenter. Kurt Russell turned down the role of Connor McLeod in Highlander to do this film.
Good.
The studio wanted Carpenter to use Jack Nicholson or Clint Eastwood for Jack Burton. Jeff Bridges was also considered coming off Starman, but it's funny because I see Jack Nicholson and I see Clint Eastwood. I'm like, but Jack Burton is what's in between those guys.
Yeah, he's like the mix of those.
Like you're getting one way or the other. And the music, there's a feature song by the Coupe de Villes, which is a band that consists of John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, and Nick Castle.
Mm-hmm.
So, Aaron, tell us about Big Trouble, our second movie called Big Trouble, but this one in Little China.
Everybody relax. I'm here. So there's movies coming up this summer still that I can't wait to talk about, and obviously I love. But right now this is obviously catapulted right to the top of the favorite movies list because it's one of my favorite movies. It's like I love Big Trouble in Little China. This movie is spectacular. Last week we talked about how, or at least I was talking about how Running Scared. For me it felt ahead of its time, at least as far as its kind of not necessarily self-awareness, but certainly like doing enough where the genre had come to a point, or at least was at a place where you could do more than just be cops. You could have fun with that idea as far as what they represent. This is such a like this is such a unique idea as far as how to do this sort of thing. And I don't even know what the thing is they're kind of doing. It's a kung fu film essentially. It's like a supernatural kung fu movie that happens to star a white guy. Except the white guy isn't really the lead, even though he's played by Kurt Russell and is for all intents and purposes the lead. He's not. He's not the hero. Wang is the hero. Like we see him, he solves everything pretty much. We're like he's fighting most of the guys. The plot revolves around the kidnapping of his girlfriend. He's the center of this movie, and yet we have to follow around the dopey white guy doing a John Wayne impression throughout the movie. It's so like I don't know what you call that. Like it's subversive in like a very like a way that feels like unidentifiable to other films. Even for Carpenter, this feels like a stretch, is what he's doing. Because for one thing, it has a budget. Like The Thing had a budget, but like he's not a, it's a studio thing. He's not a huge studio. Like he works with studios, but not like in a intent. This feels like okay, Fox really wanted this to be a hit. Like they gave him the money to do a thing. Like he does Starman before
yeah, he's
this.
coming off the high of
He's
that
coming
one.
out Starman, which is a high, gets Bridges an Oscar nomination, and he only does Starman because Thing was such a bomb and like so it's such a downer. So he's like, okay, let me do something like super ultra positive like Starman, and now let me do this. And who am I going to star? Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell, who's a guy that's basically box office poison during the '80s. Like he's not a huge star.
Right.
Like one thing maybe. So like, there's no real reason for this to like work for an audience because it's like there's no like this movie's weird. It stars this particular person. Like it's all over. It's bonkers, but it's so delightful to watch. I didn't see this movie in full. I've seen it in pieces. I didn't see it in full till I was in college, and I had a ball with this because Jack Burton is such a fun character to follow around. Everything he says is a one-liner. It's great. The way you insert this man into this world of mysticism and what have you with these like these this random amount of like of Chinese lore that's and like and magical powers and all these things going on, and they look of the time, but that still like is pretty solid because John Carpenter just knows what he's doing in this regard. Like obviously there's old effects and there's neat makeup and various appliances to the face and the hands and all kinds of weird stuff going on, but like it for the move for what it's doing, it's very comic booky in like the right kind of way, where everything feels like a just a splash page coming to life. And all these performances are like on key, particularly James Hong. James Hong is so like in as Lopan. Like
Oh
he's so
yeah,
like
he's a great villain.
He so gets the assignment for what he's supposed to be doing here, and it's really fun. Kim Cattrall like has the right kind of chemistry with Russell. Like I have there's no like flaw I have with this movie. For me it's a blast. I get that it's weird, I guess. I don't know what to describe as far
Because
as
it's
like
unique. Because there's nothing.
yeah.
There's not a lot like it.
Yeah, so like if you're not on the vibe of this movie, then you're like it's just not for you. But otherwise, this movie like it especially for a Carpenter movie, it moves. Like Carpenter movies are never like over an hour 45 minutes. They all tend to be pretty short, but some of them can have like a pace to them where like you kind of want to get to it sometimes when you especially as later films. This one just move like there's no fat on this movie. Everything is in motion. Everything's happening in this movie constantly. And no matter what the general goal is, he has to get his truck. They have to rescue this girl. They have to rescue Kim Trial. They have to stop Lopez. Like it's always on the move. It's always doing something. It's super fun. Kurt Russell like gets himself knocked out of fights multiple times in a very entertaining way where you think he's going to take charge and be a badass. Instead, he like gets knocked on the head by something or like he loses his weapon and everybody else does the fighting around. It's just so goofy and yet just wildly entertaining. I love this movie. It's great.
Scott.
Well, it wasn't quite as scary as Prince of Darkness, but I don't really have that against it. No, I don't want to just say everything Aaron said. I mean, I'm not. I've never been like, oh my god, that's one of my favorite movies, but I can find it completely entertaining on its own merits. And I am, it's an impressive film, and that it's made long enough ago that everything they did, they had to do by hand, so to speak. I don't want to say, boo-hoo CGI or whatever, but there is a certain, when you make a movie like this in the 1980s, even with was a pretty sizable, I mean, $25 million in the 80s, that's not nothing. I mean, Empire Strikes Back was, 38 million at the time or whatever, but still, there's a certain sewn by hand quality to this that I think is quite impressive. But it never feels haphazard or like stitched together in a way that any number of like big fantasy films that don't necessarily have the money for seamless visuals or seamless pacing. And this is a shockingly well put together B movie to the point where it's pretty close to an A picture, commercial results notwithstanding. And yeah, it does feel very much ahead of its time, accidentally or not, in terms of subverting any number of Hollywood action genre tropes. Obviously it's a intentionally or not, it's a very knowing spoof of the white savior stuff. It plays in certain cultural stereotypes, cultural sandboxes, but in a way that knows how to do that without being particularly punching down.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't think anything that feels intentional. It doesn't feel manufactured as like, okay, we need to do this so that people don't yell at us for that or whatever. It's a movie made by, it's an empathetic movie made by empathetic filmmakers, but it's so gee whiz fun and good cheerful that's like, I can't even see this film being like misinterpreted by unempathetic audiences, so to speak.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's playing things the right way, but it doesn't feel like it's playing it safe. It's like,
I'd be surprised if there was like a argument to like, we got to cancel this movie because it's not like in that zone at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
no, because it has a respect for what it's telling in the right ways.
And I mean, it helps that the most bonkers bananas, culturally speaking and otherwise, is from James Hong, who's one of the legends of the industry anyway. So clearly, if he's okay with it, we can be okay with it too, if that makes sense. And he's obviously having a blast. And of the 10,000 performances that he's given, this might be one of my favorites.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Right. This and Mr. Hong, those are the two.
Exactly. That's from Balls of Fury, right? Yeah.
No, I'm thinking Kung Fu Panda character.
Oh, right. Balls of Fury, Kung Fu Panda, and this. Okay. Rock on. And I guess Everything Everywhere All at Once, but whatever.
Bad for the glass. Bad for the glass.
Yeah, Chinatown.
Yeah, that too. And that one Wish Child episode of MacGyver that I was fond of back in the day. No, I mean, before I knew how any of this stuff worked in terms of, it's like, when I was a kid, it's like every show or movie I would watch that had a reason to have a somewhat dignified adult Asian male, it would probably be him. There was like a 70 to 80% chance that it was him.
Yeah, Uncle Benny.
And yeah, Jesus. But yeah, back to the movie. I mean, I came into this young enough that, I obviously I knew who John Carpenter was. I was aware of Halloween, whatever. But this feels both of piece and wildly off the proverbial reservation in terms of what you expect from a Carpenter film. And it almost feels like, and again, I don't know, but it's like, almost like he was like outwardly rebelling against the more conventional nature of Starman, which is a very good movie. And it's, the movie he needed at that point in his career, obviously. But this feels like, oh no, I made this well-liked mainstream Oscar-nominated movie. I need to do something wildly in the other direction. And, the weirdest comparison that comes to mind is like Tim Burton following up Ed Wood with Mars Attacks.
Yeah. Correct.
But no, I mean, it's putting aside the reasons that we all have to fawn on over it. It's just a really fun, relaxingly enjoyable movie that is just a pleasure to watch. I've seen it several times, and it's just a comfort film.
Yeah, I like this movie. John Carpenter is in my top director of all time conversation. I love his movies, everything he does, and like you said, yeah, he's this guy who was making B movies while highlighting B movies at like a elite level that nobody was appreciating. Time he was doing what he kind of wanted, and his career didn't get fully appreciated till later, because it's weird, because like when I was growing up, like the history has been rewritten on him, because when I was growing up, they were like, oh, John Carpenter, you watch Halloween, Assault on Precinct 13, Starman, Christine. At this point, like those are the ones, those were the classy ones. But this movie I saw in middle school when a kid I was friends with, who's like, have you ever seen Big Trouble in Little China? I was like, no. He's like, he's like, oh my god, it's Mortal Kombat. It's like this Mortal Kombat got everything from this. I'm like, oh really? It's like, oh, and there's Raiden from there. There's Shang Tsung from there. There's some
Yeah.
sets that reminder, and there's like a Goro creature.
Liu
Like
Kang is like your hero. Like
Liu Kang.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably say Johnny Cage
Johnny
and Jack
Cage,
Burton.
yeah.
Burton. Like
Pretty much.
it's all like there was definitely some Mortal Kombat inspiration from this movie, but I thought it was just a blast. And this is one of the movie. If John Carpenter like. This is one of the movie John Carpenter made that where like, you know, there's that feeling we used to have with movies and stuff where you see these special effects spectaculars and you're like, this is magic. This is magic. And this is John Carpenter's This Is Magic movie. And I have to say, like, and not to be like Scott said, not boo-hoo and CG and stuff, but lightning and shit, the way they used to do it looks so more like tangible and you know, the way they would lay that over and stuff, just like I like the look of it better. And like when stuff comes out of Lopan's eyes, I like how they were doing that more than CG for some reason. And that still to me feels like a trick more than, oh, just go on a computer and, you know, I don't know. That's a just kind of a preference or something that wows me still when I watch it today. Because this movie has all that and awesome sets. Like these things are just marvelous. And it's a fun movie start to finish. You got a great Kurt Russell character, one of his best, and he's so good at it. And like when he goes in disguise at the place with the
It's raining dogs and cats.
Yeah, raining dogs and cats. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. And
that whole bit at the end where he has lipstick on his mouth.
Oh yeah, that's just so
like
funny. It's like such a schmuck thing. Like you have this guy and you have like Ash from Evil Dead that are the greatest schmucks of the 1980s. And there's like and John Carpenter saw it, but the Russell Cattrall chemistry is really good there that they have, and it's you know he saw a Howard Hawks opportunity with both the characters. With the characters and with Russell Cattrall. Like, he wanted Kim Cattrall from the start. There's no other, like, that's who he wanted, and he had to fight the studio for it. The studio wanted him to look at musicians for this part, and he's like, nope, I want Kim Cattrall. And they worked around her schedule so she could be at a play. She was in a play at the time, but the studio's like, the girl from the sex comedy movies? No, thank you.
It's like, granted, she's fine. She's had a good career. Mm-hmm. She's not begging for money. But it's so surprising that, like, turns like this didn't like open up the doors to see her in other things that are of the same nature, because she's so good here playing into that Howard Hawks energy. Mm-hmm. There's a very specific kind of thing to do in film. You can do that on the stage, say, you know, fast rapid dialogue, whatnot. That's the thing that you can do in plays because plays require that. But for a film to make that work, like for the filmmaker and the actor to keep up with each other to do that kind of chemistry, that you don't get that all the time. And so it's surprising to me that she didn't like level up. It didn't help that the movie was, you know, didn't perform that well. But she could have capitalized on it. Hollywood fucked up, is what I'm saying.
Right? Yeah. No,
as they do.
But the thing is, it was with the thing like it was a more conservative time, that whole era, and like if she does Porky's even a decade or so later, that's a breakout. She gets way more roles and stuff there. Like, for instance, like Shannon Elizabeth, American Pie, wasn't like looked down on. They started giving her leads in horror movie and all sorts of stuff right away. Cattrall did not get that. She had to like fight her way through. Luckily she met, you know, had someone like John Carpenter on her side, and that's, you know, she would have a massive like she would get Star Trek in the beginning. Of the 90s,
it pays off over time with her, which is overall because you talk about Shannon Elizabeth, like sure, but that's also like a 5-year period. Like,
I'm saying Cattrall could have been more instant. And,
you're not wrong. Yeah,
and you know, Shannon Elizabeth was a 5-year period because the movies weren't good. Was she spectacular in them?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah.
That's the other
thing.
Mean,
to be fair, a year later she does Mannequin, which we joke about it now, but it was a huge hit.
Oh, that was a massive hit.
Yeah, it was like 43 million domestic, and it played for a while.
Yeah,
the sequel sucks.
The sequel is but Mannequin's not that great itself, Scott.
No,
if you want to talk about going back to Short Circuit and learning some things, Mannequin.
No.
I did a retrospective, 1-2 retrospective on that one time.
See that crumpled up Mannequin poster in the corner of your room.
Ooh,
I have the Blu-rays. But it's good for the song though. That Mannequin, first Mannequin. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, John Carpenter after this goes away from studio films. as we'll later learn of its
This
box
is like
office.
Prince of Darkness next, right?
Yeah, he goes and he makes 2 independent movies. He makes Prince of Darkness and They Live. There's a guy who's like, hey, he goes to him and Wes Craven and is like, I'll give you multi-picture deals. You have all the freedom. The studios are going to come in, but I'm going to negotiate the deal so they don't touch your film. They only distribute. And that's what he does. Carpenter does Prince of Darkness and They Live, and Craven does a 3-movie deal, which includes
Serpent in the Rainbow,
People Under the Stairs.
The good ones.
Shocker.
Shocker, yeah. And Shocker.
Oh, okay. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Nope, all three. I
All
love
3.
those
Shocker's
films.
fun.
I love that
Shocker's
trilogy
good.
so
It's
much.
not for it.
I'll take those over many other Craven movies.
Shocker.
Fair.
Well, it's funny. I had Brian Collins on my old podcast, and we were talking.
Biggest Shocker fan.
Yeah, he's the biggest Shocker fan. Like Scream Factory, literally at an event, pulled him aside and was like, "We got Shocker." But he said he was doing an interview with Wes Craven for something, and he mentioned something about Shocker, and Wes Craven looked at him and goes, "Shocker." All right, that's good. He's like, it was a great moment. He said, I think you asked him something about the song or something, and he's like, he's like, it was the craziest thing to see that man do. So.
Big Trouble. Like a number of Craven films have been remade at this point. This is the dumbest one to say we should remake this. And you know me, Brendan. I'm not against remakes. I am so like, if you make it good. Like, if it's bad, it's bad. Okay, that sucked. But like, if you make a good remake, make a good remake. But the notion of this is such a specific film with such specific performances, and like Carpenter's direction feels so key to this as well, where it's like, what else do you do with what do you? And I know it's The Rock who said like we're making a Big Trouble movie. Who said that for a while. I'd like to think that's been put to pasture at this point.
It's been put to,
but it's like, what do you think you can do here? Like
I've seen Jungle Cruise. Kurt Russell does this way better than you.
Kurt Russell is this movie. Like, it's so indebted to what he's bringing to it, and it's so indebted to the time it exists in, and it's so indebted to the style that Carpenter brings to it as far as making like you're saying, Brett, elite B movie stuff. Like, they like you can make another Thing movie. It'd be bad because the Thing's perfect, but like you can make a thing that makes that monster hiding in a person, whatever. Halloween, I think we've proven we can do that a few times. Christine,
you can do another adaptation.
I'm surprised there hasn't been more Christines. Honestly, that feels like a pretty easy thing to do again.
They did The Fog.
Those are, I would argue, concept-driven movies, but something like this it's so predicated on who was in it when it was made. I mean.
No, that's why you can't like this.
It's like you don't remake Die Hard because you don't have Bruce Willis as John McClane. What the fuck do you got? And that's the issue.
They did Die Hard in a building with The Rock. Die Hard in a building. What an idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, this
do you think we should have a really charismatic villain? No.
This and Prince of Darkness feel just so like separate from the board as far as like
it's from some guy's like head at the time, and like personally capturing a personality of the creator that you're not like no.
You can do Star. I mean, Starman's just ET, but people. I mean, it's like it's already been done again.
Well, it's just like it's the fun of understand because there was the I don't know if you shared it with me, Aaron, or whatever, or I shared it with you, but there was the Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell interview about them talking about Escape from New York and how the internet's always like, well, Wyatt can play the young Snake Plissken. He's like, do the people realize I'm in my 40s? I'm older than you were when you played it. How am I a younger Snake Plissken? And they brought him to laugh. Like it's the things that they just the people don't know. The fan. Don't listen to the fucking internet. I would love Wyatt Russell play Snake Plissken. It's fine, but calling him the young one or just thinking that Wyatt would want to play it. Like
also I already got it. It was called. It was called Lockdown. It was then called Space Jail, and it starred Guy Pearce, and it was wonderful.
And John Carpenter even said it was by suing and winning.
Yeah, he won because it was such a good remake.
Now, when I say rip off, don't remake, you need to be a little bit more careful than that.
Right.
I mean, if you want to remake a John Carpenter movie, do Memoirs of Invisible Man.
I was going to say, do Invisible Man.
Don't worry, open up.
Do fucking Children of the Corn or whatever, The Village of the Damned, the same movie.
Right.
Village. By the way, for those that have seen Big Trouble in Little China, or regardless, the Kurt Russell, John Carpenter commentaries are the best.
Yep.
And I've seen this movie so many times. So I watched it last night with the commentary because I've only watched it like a couple times. It's such a fun commentary to hear. And they even acknowledge they barely talk about the movie. They talk about it enough, but then at the end they're like, "Sorry, we didn't talk about the movie more." Like they're just having such a good time being with each other, and it's just a blast. If you've seen this movie enough and you want to watch a commentary, listen to the Out Now one, obviously, and then listen to the John Carpenter.
I actually I showed this to my kids when they were much younger, and they loved it. They thought it was awesome. They thought it was fun. I was like, good. I'm glad this one sticks. And they're not even getting all the stuff or whatever. They just thought it was fun adventure.
And when you figure out the time, you can realize that Kurt Russell at one point is making fun of or he's poo-pooing a movie he didn't like working on. It's Soldier, only because he knew he would make 3,000 miles to Graceland afterwards. Which,
gotcha.
That was during that. There was a very, very brief period from like Breakdown until Soldier where he was actually, I would argue, something of a draw.
Well, the
He did,
90s, he became more of a draw.
Yeah.
In general, the 90s, he was more of a draw.
I think it was built up because, like, in the 80s, he had the movies. People did go see them. He had some hits in there, but, like, the VHS boom was building him as a star because people would see those movies on rentals and stuff, and then he kind of possibly had unknowingly built a resume based on people seeing him on TV or stuff and really liking and enjoying him.
One day we'll do a Kurt Russell just retrospective because he's had such a fascinating career. But you got to remember, he was a child actor.
Yeah,
turned to teen, had that transition, did the Elvis thing, which helped him out a bit.
Yeah,
and then worked with Carpenter. But then his Carpenter just didn't really do that well. And then the '80s, kind of until Tequila Sunrise, which helped. He was just kind of floundering.
Well, I mean, he gets to the point where Kurt Russell has the point where he has the clout to make Escape from L.A. to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, the '90s really helps him out a lot. Like it,
he had commercially speaking, like probably from Tequila Sunrise or Tango and Cash. So very late '80s. Through Backdraft was a hit. A Lawful Entry was a hit.
Yeah.
Tombstone was a hit. Stargate was a hit. Okay. And Breakdown is fucking awesome. And then Soldier. That's sort of
there's a good period there where he's like a big it's a deal.
Was him and Carpenter, their only hit was Escape from New York, right? Like everything else
so.
New York is a hit.
Disappointing.
Everything
else disappointing. Yeah. But no, Big Trouble in Little China. Go watch it again because I know you've seen it. I know you've seen it. You can't not have seen it. Go see it again. All right, we'll move on to the TV ratings this week.
An NBC World movie premiere. A beautiful woman. An innocent child. A crazed killer. A journey into terror. Lee Remick, trapped in a madman's nightmare.
You call me sir. No, bang!
What she must do to save her own life and free a kidnapped baby will shock the nation. When they reach this roadblock, her worst fears and her only hope will be in the rear view mirror.
Big news, guys.
Cosby's back and bigger than ever.
Not number one.
Cheers?
No. The Liberty Weekend Thursday night opening ceremonies on ABC. Remember we were talking about what Ronald Reagan was doing in the news?
They want to see if Nancy would accidentally cut off his head.
Gotcha.
What if that happened? Sorry.
Liberty Weekend Thursday opening ceremonies. And number 2, Liberty Weekend Friday coverage on ABC.
Big event.
And number 3, a TV movie on Monday night on NBC called Rear View Mirror from 1984. It starred Lee Remick, Michael Beck, and Tony Musante.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And now number 4, guys can rest assured, it's The Cosby Show.
Okay.
Repeat on NBC. Number 5, a Golden Girls repeat on NBC. Number 6, a Growing Pains repeat on ABC. Number 7, Who's the Boss repeat on ABC. Number 8, Mr. and Mrs. C, a new episode on NBC. Number 9, Family Ties repeat on NBC. And number 10, the Liberty Weekend Sunday coverage for closing ceremonies. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I assume 1990s Liberty Ceremony when they return the Statue of Liberty there after the Ghostbusters use it's going to be pretty big too.
Yeah, and the one after David Copperfield made it reappear.
Yeah, a lot of action for that Liberty.
Yeah. So other TV movies this week. CBS ran a 3-part miniseries called Ellis Island from 1984, starring Peter Regert, Alice Krige, Faye Dunaway, Richard Burton, and Michael Byrne. On Friday,
pattern here.
Yeah. On Friday, CBS aired Happy Endings from 1983, starring John Schneider, Catherine Hicks, and Anna Alicia. CBS Saturday, The Scarlet Pimpernel from 1982, starring Anthony Andrews, Jane Seymour, and Ian McKellen.
Oh, early McKellen.
Yeah, early McKellen. Sunday on CBS, they showed First Steps from 1985, starring Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2, Judd Hirsch, Kim Darby, Francis Lee McCain, Alan Ruck, Megan Mullally, and Ann Dowd. And then Sunday on NBC, they showed The Fantastic World of D.C. Collins from 1984, starring Gary Coleman, Bernie Casey, Shelley Smith, Fred Dreyer, Pamela Adlon, and Jason Bateman.
And D.C. Collins as himself.
Yes. No TV movies, or no regular movies this week. So that's what we had.
They don't want to show Saboteur.
Or no, I'm sorry. No,
that's
a
Statue of Liberty joke. That's what I was going for.
No. But those are movies for this week. Not a lot of activity. It was a 4th of July week. So it was kind of with everything. But Ronald Reagan, the actor, was there to christen the Statue of Liberty, I guess.
Haven't so got to watch fireworks.
Yes. So we'll head on out to our third film this week, The Great Mouse Detective, playing in 1,138 theaters.
Walt Disney Pictures proudly presents a new high in animated excitement. Toby Seacom. A bold new step in cataclysmic comedy. A soaring new achievement in adventure. Steady. Yikes. Hang on for an all-new tale of stunning surprises. Disney's all-new animated adventure. We've done it, old fellow. The Great Mouse Detective. Rated G.
Starts Wednesday, July 2nd at theaters everywhere. Check your local newspaper.
Directed by, bear with me here, Ron Clements, Bernie Mattinson, Dave Michner, and John Musker. Written by Peter Young, Vance Jerry, Steve Hewlett, Ron Clements, John Musker, Bruce Morris, Matthew O'Callahan, Bernie Madison, Dave Michner, Mel Shaw. Based on Basil of Baker Street by Eve Titus and Paul Galdone. Inspired by the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Story consultant Tony Geiss. Starring Vincent Price, Barry Ingham, Val Betting, Laurie Main, and Melissa Manchester. Composed by Henry Mancini. Basil, the rodent Sherlock Holmes, investigates the kidnapping of a toy maker and uncovers its link to its archenemy, Professor Ratigan. Scott! Great Mouse
This
Detective.
movie fucking kicks ass. This rocks so hard. This is a film that saved Disney animation. Of course it did. That's how fucking awesome it is. I'm only kind of joking because I've always very much enjoyed this one. It is visually it's gorgeous, and that's not just the Big Ben battle actually still holds up 40 years later. It's just a shockingly well constructed and ambitious animated action sequence, let alone from a time where I would argue you didn't see a lot of rough and tumble action sequences like that in animated pictures.
Just note that, Scott, you're praising the Big Ben action scene in this movie, and one of your favorite movies of all time is Shanghai Nights, also features a Big Ben action sequence.
He likes Big Ben.
Well, as long as somebody, spoilers, I guess, flies off of Big Ben to their death, I'm okay with it.
I hear you.
Yeah.
It's the only way to go.
I mean, jokes aside, it just works. It is funny. It does not wear out its welcome. It's another, relatively short Disney movie. Vincent Price is obviously having a ball doing his thing, and yet the movie remembers to give him a bit of menace. He feeds one of his henchmen to a cat in one of the first scenes of the movie. That's always cool. Um, he has two songs, both of which are very karaoke friendly, especially if you're a little tipsy. Um, and it just, you know, it works as a compelling Sherlock Holmes adventure story that, to the extent that it matters, is more faithful than you might initially think to the spirit of the character. Granted, it's one that's been adapted 10,000 times. We all have our favorites, yada, yada, yada. But I like to treat this one as this is the Sherlock Holmes where he's so coked out of his mind that he thinks he's a mouse. And yeah. Sorry, Aaron just gave a look. But no, this is I mean, again, I have nothing negative to say about Little Mermaid, but I would have to say by default, this is my favorite Disney movie of the 80s. And I think it might be the best Disney movie since Jungle Book. I mean, I like this more than Jungle Book, but I'm aware of the legacy, blah, blah, blah. And this is, then and now it was genuinely thrilling to see an animated Disney movie that worked as an action picture, as an action thriller, and that didn't. I'm not going to say tone down. It's not this. This is a G-rated movie, but it did not feel compromised in terms of the chases and the fights and the daring do and the near escapes and all that stuff. And it's just really, really fun. I've seen it many times over the years, and it is by default one of my favorite straight up Disney cartoons. And while I do like the Fox and the Hound quite a bit, that's certainly the first one where it felt like they were trying to, claw back to relevancy, all due respect.
Starring Kurt
This
Russell.
is the one that was like, sorry, what was that?
Starring Kurt Russell.
Touche, indeed. This is the one where it's like, okay, fuckers, we're back. Just give us a minute. And I really, really enjoy it on its own merits. As a Disney cartoon that's very good. As a Sherlock Holmes adaptation that's very good. And it just has its own thing as a rollicking, enjoyable, kid-friendly, but in a good way, not pandering, not patronizing, not full of stupid pop culture references that don't matter, blah, blah, blah. And it fucking rips. And I've always really enjoyed it.
Aaron.
There should be 4 of these. Like I know Disney used to be like somewhat averse to sequels, even though Rescuers Down Under comes out like 3 years later or whatever. But like, we're in an era where there's Disney sequels, but boy, do I not need Moana 2 or Ralph Breaks the Internet or any number of some of these. But meanwhile, this one, which is rife for more adventures because it's just built into the kind of narrative it is, I'd love to see more of this because I agree with Scott. It's such a fun movie. I love watching this movie. And it is a really easy watch. I've never ranked my Disney films as far as like, my overall rank. I know what my favorite is, but like I don't have like an overall like top 10 or 20, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one pop up fairly high just because I so admire what it's doing as far as being just a fun adventure mystery movie that, yes, has not one but 2 villain songs. That rules. Aladdin doesn't have one villain song. Like so, like this one.
Which has one that's so bad you wish it didn't.
Yeah, so yeah, this like you get Vincent Price, which is just like a joy in itself. But on top of that, you get like a fairly compelling mystery of like that they're trying to solve that like has deduction scenes and has the chemistry between a Watson character and a Sherlock character. You have your sympathetic mystery like component. Like there's just everything here, like Scott said, like works as far as being a proper Sherlock mystery movie that's in the realm of a Disney film, but it just does the job. And yeah, it looks great. It shows you foggy old London town, and it gets like what the first use of CGI in a Disney movie with the Big Ben sequence. It looks really great. It is compelling and thrilling to watch. The music's good. The animation throughout, like there's a lot of variety. You're going into like these dirty bars and nicer buildings, and like there's a lot of like sets, so to speak. There's good production design in this animation that I appreciated. It's it doesn't like it almost feels like it's not Disney, but at the same time it's like this just feel like it feels different from standard Disney stuff around that time, just because of the specificity of the kind of characters you're watching or whatnot. Obviously they've done talking animals things before, but there's just something about the way that this one looks compared to, I guess, the massive jump they take in the next couple movies, for the Renaissance era essentially, where this one just feels like it stands out as this sort of, yeah, how about this kind of thing, which is like, particularly, this is like, is this the beginning of the Renaissance? Is this like considered the beginning of the Renaissance era?
Little Mermaid's
Officially.
considered.
I think Little Mermaid's like the breakout, like
if you
huge
watch
thing.
Sleeping Beauty, they talk about how we can make this better, blah blah blah, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah,
because this one comes off Black Cauldron, but then they follow it with Brave Little Toaster, and then Oliver and Company.
We don't talk
Oliver
about
and Company
Brave Little
does,
Toaster.
huh?
We don't talk about Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah,
it's such a sad toaster.
And then Oliver and Company, that was decently.
It makes money, but no one looks at Oliver and Company like they're desperate.
Right.
Oliver and Company is, when I was growing up, the conventional wisdom was that Disney cartoons were for babies, metaphorically speaking. And Oliver and Company is very much that kind of picture. And it was weird that, by the time Aladdin comes out, because we've had Beauty and the Beast, we've had The Little Mermaid, it's like, I'm 12 years old, and I'm really excited to see a Disney cartoon. That's interesting. That's different. And obviously they go through periods of that. Sorry.
Yeah, my track record with this was like, I had this VHS when I was young. Like, I watched this one a lot. I had seen Mermaid, but it wasn't one that I like obsessed over. I was okay on Beauty and the Beast. I didn't obsess over it, but Aladdin, obviously, because like it's a boys' picture, so like I watched Aladdin a lot. And then and I also watched the Rescuers Down Under a lot. That's what I watched a ton. I think just because I like the music and the Australianness of it, just seemed like something different. And then like Lion King changed my life. So it's like this whole thing. But yeah, this movie though just rocks. I mean, it's such it just does the job in all respects. And it's Clemens and Musker who will go on to do Mermaid and then Lion King eventually and all that. Anyway, it's good stuff.
No, I've 3 for 3. Like, I love this movie. It's great as an adult to go back to it, and it holds up tremendously and even more impressively with it. This one, Disney does here what it had done in the past for Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone, where they make a Sherlock Holmes entry where they make it essential, an essential entry in the canon. Like, you can't not think. Like, I always think, when I think of Sherlock Holmes stuff, I can't forget Great Mouse Detective. Like, it's like that. Like, it's a lot of people's essential Robin Hood is that Robin Hood, and that King Arthur Sword in the Stone movie is a notable part of the road of King Arthur's legacy.
It's hitting the beats of what that legacy is.
Yeah, and it does it. These do it while being it's true to its roots when adapting. Like, that's the fun part of it. It's able to do. Vincent Price is wonderful here, and he makes this movie deliciously spooky for kids. At the time, I saw this in the theater when it came out. I do remember that. Pretty awesome. And we had a day at my school, in elementary school, where they showed this after school. You could stay after school. You got popcorn and got to watch Great Mouse Detective. And they laid out the gym mats. Do you remember the gym mats, Scott? That you'd have.
I do.
They put all those out, and you sat on one of those, and then they had a projector, and it wasn't like they put a VHS tape on at school. It was like a legit, probably 16 millimeter version of Great Mouse Detective. It was awesome, and they did the same thing for another movie that was pivotal in this year, but doesn't hold up quite near as well as this. American Tail comes out later in the year. Similar type thing, but a little more, not as fun genre stuff. It's a family emotional thing, and that one has the big hit song in it. And but I actually, it was funny when we were doing COVID and stuff. I did a film festival for my kids one of the first weekends, and I showed them what I decided to pick an anime. I was like, I'll pick one for my child. I'll put American Tail on there. They were bored as shit with American Tail. They did not care for that.
They're too many Jews.
Really ragging on Spielberg this episode, Brandon.
There we go. Yeah, taking it. He didn't like our previous episode. So he's like, why am I not in Summer of '86 and I've been in all of them before? So I've shown them Great Mouse. They like Great Mouse Detective. They like this one, so it works.
Show Land Before Time.
No, I haven't got there yet. have not got there yet. But no, this movie's tremendous. The animation's awesome on it. I like how it works. I like how it functions, and it's a good mystery. It's a fun. There's a fun in with the little girl character to lead us to everything. The Basil is just awesome character. Well done, and this is just super fun, and I could watch it again right now. And it's only like an hour, a little over an hour of a movie, but it has so much to it in that hour. It's amazing. And I really like this animation style, and this is an awesome movie. Like, I had the VHS, the clamshell, everything, and this is a treat. This is high class Disney stuff right here. And then they go downhill with this fucking Little Mermaid shit. I'm like, where's the Great Mouse Detective?
They don't go downhill right now. They go under the sea.
Yeah. I liked it better when Disney was dark and gritty with Great Mouse Detective and the Black Cauldron. Where's that shit at? Damn it.
You know what's hilarious?
We didn't know what we had.
They asked Vincent Price to do this after watching one of his comedies, not one of his horror films.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which, weird.
Makes sense.
Because it's an animated
You ever played a villain before, Vincent? We got an idea over at Disney. Might be against type.
Once or twice.
Might be against type here. I'm listening. Yeah. Very cool.
Anyway, no, I love this one. I always have.
Yeah. This is just so easy. So good. All right, so we will move on now to the Kasem's American Top 10 for our episode.
American Top 40. On American Top 40, I'm Casey Kasem. Hits from coast to coast. The countdown continues on our way to number 1.
Coming in at number 10. Something's making money at the box office, and something's creeping in the top 10. We got Danger Zone from Kenny Loggins.
Oh. They found the highway?
Kenny!
Yeah. Found the highway from number 14 to number 10. Also moving up.
You met him halfway.
Met him. Kenny Loggins, the Great American Soundtrack. Moving up one spot, Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. And then dropping from number 1. We'll have a new number 1 this week. To number 8 is On My Own, Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. Get Out of Town. You're dropping. Number 7, dropping as well, Crush on You from the Jets. At number 6, Invisible Touch by Genesis. Janet Jackson moves up 4 spots from number 9 to number 5 with Nasty. Howard Jones moves up 1 for No One Is to Blame. Number 3, Who's Johnny by El DeBarge. Jumping up to number 2 from number 4, Holding Back the Years by Simply Red. And that means number 1, There'll Be Sad Songs by Billy Ocean. Pretty awesome. So, if you want to hear more about individual songs in here, go stay on for the Friday music video companion series the summer of '86 at 40, where I and a guest will talk about one of the artists, songs, and music videos from this countdown here. We move now on to what is our top release of the week, playing in 1,408 theaters, Psycho the Third.
I think it's pronounced Psycho 3.
Psycho 3. Directed by Anthony...
Psycho Squared?
Psycho Squared.
Cubed, Scott. Cubed, you dumbass. Leave it in. Leave it in.
Yeah.
Smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
I don't even bother asking.
Psycho 3 Motel Drift.
Maureen Coyle is tired. She's hungry. And all she wants is a quiet place to spend the night.
Bates Motel.
Nothing's going to happen to you here.
I can't have that sort of thing going on in my motel. It gives the place a bad name.
Why are you so kind to me?
You remind me of someone.
Norman!
Psycho 3, rated R. Starts Wednesday, July 2nd at select theaters.
Directed by Anthony Perkins. He only directs one more film in his lifetime called Lucky Stiff in 1988. It was written by Charles Edward Pogue, who writes the Fly remake, Dragonheart, and Call the Conqueror, based on characters by Robert Bloch. Starring Diana Scarwood, Jeff Fahey, Roberta Maxwell, Lee Garlington, Hugh Gillen, and Kat Shea. Composed by Carter Burwell. He's the Coen Brothers composer, did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We talked about California a couple of years ago. Just Wayne's World 2 being John Malkovich. Three Kings, which is an Aaron classic. Twilight. Seven Psychopaths, which if you flip around, you can read a quote from Scott Mendelson on that box.
He's a McDonough guy for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. Holmes, which we talked about. And Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2.
Nailed it.
Shot by Bruce Surtees. He does Dirty Harry. He did Dirty Harry, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Lenny, Night Moves, plenty of Eastwood movies, Risky Business, Beverly Hills Cop, and License to Drive. Norman Bates falls in love with a fallen nun who stays at the Bates Motel alongside a drifter and a curious reporter. Meanwhile, Mother is still watching. This movie, Anthony Perkins said his direction was inspired by Blood Simple. So of course he got the composer of the Coen Brothers before they take off, but he got the composer for Blood Simple. And Perkins was diagnosed with HIV positive during the production of this film. So, believe we're at Aaron.
It's funny. I love Psycho. Psycho was basically my favorite horror movie of all time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I went a pretty long while not knowing there were Psycho sequels, like impressively long, not knowing there were like actual sequels to Psycho. So when I found out, I'm like, oh, those exist. Those can't possibly be any good. Why would you make a sequel to Psycho? Then I finally watched. Like literally, I don't think I knew there were sequels to Psycho until after the remake of Psycho came out. And like, oh, there were others. Like there were more. There's a franchise. So. Psycho 2, when I finally saw it, was like shockingly good. I was like, oh, this like does the job. Like this is actually like a pretty decent way of how you would do another one of these. So going into Psycho 3 initially, when I first saw it, I was like, which I believe was when the Shout Factory release came out for it, the Blu-ray. I was like, well, 2 was like luck. Surely 3 can't be good. Like, and no, it's good. Like it does the job. Like it. I'm not gonna say, when you're coming up, when you have the first entry being like a genre-defying masterpiece from one of the best directors to have ever lived, you lower the bar a bit for like what the sequels are going to like possibly deliver. But like 2, I'm surprised. I was surprised how like much it worked. And now 3, I'm not going to say is amazing, but it does do the job. It has a host of characters that are like, regardless of how good they are, they're fun to watch do stuff. The nun character, Jeff Fahey's character, obviously Perkins is just he's the only one that can do this beyond Freddie Highmore, obviously, of course, and that other thing. Vince Vaughn guilty. But no, what I like about this one even more so than 2, it's very stylish. Like you mentioned Blood Simple, and it seems very clear that Anthony Perkins had an eye for what he wanted to do here. It's less violent than 2, or at least it's less overtly violent than 2 is. There's like some very clear choices as far as how he wants to use like knives and stuff. Like there's deaths, obviously, but like 2 like really goes for it with the gore in a way that feels akin to
it's Halloween to Halloween 2 kind of
it's
thing.
An 80s slasher movie, where 3 feels more concentrated. I mean, 3 with talking about sacrosanct, 3 is like Psycho by way of Vertigo. Like that's what they're kind of going with, like the nun stuff and the powers and everything. There's like there's some obvious homage going on there, in addition to being this kind of like neo-noir pastiche that is channeling what the Coens did of Blood Simple, which was it's a hit for the indie crowd that at that time, and you can see it here. It's like it's got cast angles and colors and cool like ideas going on from like what Perkins' perspective is. Like he's making clear choices, which I admire. The story itself is like whatever. It's like it's Norman has to deal with reverting back to old ways, that kind of thing, and can he get over it? I like how it ends essentially, where like it gives you sort of an out, but doesn't really. So that was like it's fun to see in the process. Like the movie, like it's more about what it's like evoking and the atmosphere and the character stuff that's fun to watch than it is like about delving into the further trials of Norman Bates and his mother's obsessions and what have you. But as a movie, it's entertaining. I think it does the job. Quick note. I finally watched Psycho 4. So yesterday I watched 2, 3, and 4
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because I had that kind of time. And so I finally watched 4 and not that bad. 4. Like I don't think it's good. I think it's shot well and it's acted well. The script just sucks. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Like the script is shit. But like CCH Pounder is really good in it.
You didn't say it right.
How am I supposed to say CCH Pounder?
CCH Pounder.
As Norman Bates.
Thank you. And obviously Perkins is still doing his thing, who like I assume is like, nearing his demise at that point, which is unfortunate. Yeah. But regardless, so yeah, like the Psycho series, it's better than it isn't as far as things like Bates Motel, which you and I kind of gave up on 3 episodes in, but apparently got pretty good.
Yeah, I've always teetered on like, should I start that again?
Yeah, I remember when it came out, we both watched like the first couple. We're like, I don't think we'll mind if we don't keep going on this. And it goes on. It goes on for like 4 more seasons and like does quite well.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right.
We're like, I don't see a future for this show.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't see any money here.
Aaron and I is judge of television, but I was just like, I guess I didn't let it find its groove, or Psycho's such a defensive property. Like because you mentioned this, like there's always, in meeting people and stuff, there's always a hesitancy to watch the Psycho sequels for people, and I broke that. I went to I saw very young, so like we went to Universal Studios and they had the Hitchcock exhibit, which was awesome, and it's gone. But you would go, you go and you'd watch a movie with 3D glasses of like a montage of his stuff, and then you go in this one room and they'd show you how they shot the shower scene in Psycho. Like they had a stage set up and stuff. It was cool. And then in the lobby, you could film yourself doing the vertigo fall. And in there, like I was eating it up, and I bought a Psycho poster, and I bought Psycho and Psycho 2 on VHS souvenirs from Universal. So because my parents were like, oh, I just get Psycho 2. And they had never seen it either. And we got back from Florida and we popped them in. We watched Psycho, and then we watched Psycho 2 the next night. And we were all like, I didn't at the time, I'm like, oh, but my parents were like, oh, okay, we'll watch this. And they were like, that was actually good. What was like, what the heck? And we agreed it was good. I didn't see Psycho 3 for a little while after that, but I always remembered the poster, the VHS store of like Andy Berg with the keys.
Yeah.
And it was just a really good image, just to be like, what is this? Oh, Norman again. And I watched Psycho 3. I was like, this is pretty good. And it's hard to convince people because they just the idea that a sequel was made to this movie has a defense like no other movie had. I think it's because there's such a long time between it and the sequel that something like, I guess this one, Psycho 2 walks so Blade Runner 2049 can run, or something like that. But it's amazing that this
color
is actually
money sitting right there, Brandon.
What color? That it exists, and they're like good. And, it's a good movie. It's solid. And the fourth one, the script, because I'm like, there's parts where I'm like, oh,
there's a lot of
but and this one introduces Fahey is an interesting cog of a character in this thing with some. Perkins isn't afraid to go places and be weird with it, and there's this kind of like weird vibe with the two of them that's neat. And
a lot of gels in this movie, a lot of lights on, a lot of color gels in this movie. Galore.
And his relationship with the nun and stuff it works, and you'd think it shouldn't, but it does, and it's different than the previous movie's relationship with what's her name,
Meg Tilly.
Thank you. And then Perkins showing off some director, like he's got a little Hitchcock in him too. He's saying Blood Simple, but that icebox scene with the hand still, that's Hitchcock. That's total Hitchcock stuff right there. Which is great. And this is the one that you probably expected if you went into Psycho 2 hesitance, this was probably the best you thought Psycho 2 could have been.
Yeah, 2 warms you up for this movie quite a well.
And then this one's like there is a step down, but it's good still. And that's the fun with Psycho 3. So I'll throw it over to Scott.
I think one reason why, and to be fair, I have not seen part 4, although now that I might as well.
It was a Showtime original movie.
That's why I never bothered. I figured it was
Mick Garris made it. Yep.
It's better production quality than you expect. Like it feels like a movie. Like
because I mean, Mick Garris had done Critters 2. He'd been around. Like he does some Stephen King stuff. Like he's.
But I think the reasons that the sequels work is that you have an interesting, compelling major character to anchor these pictures. It's not just in the generic, there's this faceless slasher and this movie will live or die by whether or not the victims are interesting or not.
Yeah.
You have obviously Norman Bates, for better or worse, this is the role that defined Anthony Perkins, and that's a complicated conversation, but certainly by Psycho, by this film, this is sort of his I Am Spock moment, if that makes sense, where it's like he's very much come to terms that this is going to be his legacy, for better or worse. And yeah, if the second film is sort of the silly example, humor me, but the Jaws 2 of the franchise, in which let's take this property and just go hardcore slasher. Again, I like it. I like Jaws 2 for that matter on its own. This is more this ode to Hitchcock. And it's visually very striking. It's very well constructed. I think it's a visually better made movie than Psycho 2, even though I think Psycho 2 is more works better as a story.
Well, it's like saying like Halloween 5 is visually better than 4. 4 is a more standard looking picture. 5 is a little got more interesting. It's not a better movie, but it's got some more.
4 is a perfect example for just in general, is regardless of what you think of Psycho 2 and 3, in terms of the Psycho series, they're both solid, probably above average. I mean, you would know more than I do in terms of the 80s slasher pictures.
Oh yeah. And
2 is because 2 has the mystery is so good. Like if you haven't seen it, you're like, wait, who is doing this? Like there's a real question to that movie.
The slasherness of 2 is just details in a otherwise normal like adult horror movie type thing. Like like it's not like it doesn't feel there is the scene with the 2 kids, and then this one has all the dumb shits at the hotel. At the motel during it that feel tropey, but they don't really play in hardcore to those people like they could have.
That's what I'm saying.
There's Potter. There's all the
it's a less gory film, like in because I watched both these with the commentaries. I've seen them enough, but like it was a very deliberate choice on Perkins' end to be like, I don't want to use the knife until the end of 3 with the mother specifically because it's very iconic in that.
Right. And what happened too, like also like there's a lot of things, but it's like when you think of like, oh, these annoying characters or something, I can see people, but I'm like, who do you think's stopping off at these motels that are like in this? Yeah, like it's actually pretty nice and accurate there.
I think, Scott, I want to keep talking about it real quick. I think what helps, much like Jaws 2, these are Universal productions. Like they have a budget. They have like good people involved to work on these movies. I think that makes a difference than shooting up in Canada somewhere.
They care about Norman Bates as much as they would making their next Dracula or Frankenstein movie. They hold him in that regard.
And I think,
and Jaws in that
certainly
too. But
other than maybe Dracula and Frankenstein, this has to be their most iconic horror boogeyman, give or take. I mean, I'm not going to say maybe in recent years, maybe the Grabber is getting up there, but you get the idea, at least for like the up until very recently.
Well, Megan 2.0, of course, Scott.
Exactly.
Right. They get
Chucky.
They get Chucky after the first.
Oh, that's right. They had Chucky for a while.
They get Michael Myers. They've had Michael Myers on and off. So
what you're speaking to though is you're right, Scott. Like Universal does a very good job
of Universal Studios, especially the theme park. You think of the Bates Motel.
And they're monsters. They've curated monsters not just from the past, but going forward throughout the decades.
Yeah.
And as far as this picture, in terms of like slasher films that you wouldn't be embarrassed to watch with your parents, if that makes sense, this is maybe only a notch or two below The Stepfather in terms of, I think Stepfather is a much better movie, but in terms of this feels like a movie for adults that doesn't make me feel like a juvenile idiot watching these dead teenagers take off their clothes and get hacked to death. And I think that's part of what sets this apart is that at the end of the day, these are still character studies about Norman Bates. and that the violence is merely a consequence of these stories, not the reason for the season, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And because you like Norman Bates, you are in a position, whether you should or not, you are in a position of rooting against violence, which is always a good thing to have when you're in a horror film. And it's especially unusual to do in a slasher film because, most slasher franchises eventually come to the point where you're rooting for the villain, for better or worse. And, I this was the first I became aware of this property because, again, I'm 6 years old. I'm reading all the newspapers or whatever. This looks creepy and disturbing. And then eventually I would read about Psycho as this. The weirdest thing is I saw Psycho for the first time when I was 11 on VHS. I was going to start getting into my Hitchcock phase, so to speak. And I don't know why, but for the duration that I watched the movie, my brain forgot about the twist. What I mean by that is I followed along. I let the movie do its thing, and I was surprised by the end. I was unnerved at the end. And then a couple days later, I'm looking at old Mad magazines, and they have a spoof of Psycho 2, which I probably read a dozen times at that point. And yet, while I was watching the movie, I did not remember that Norman Bates was the murderer. And I don't know why that happened, but I'm always grateful for it. But anyway, no, this is a much better movie than it is expected to be. And I think the reason for that is because you have a character like Norman Bates that is engaging and engrossing and interesting on its own terms. And you have an actor that just, for better or worse, is very protective of him and very protective of the character and has come to terms with the fact that this is going to be his legacy for better or worse. And I really like this one.
Yeah, you have like a studio protective, and you have an actor who is really protective of his character and wondering where he's going to go. And they ixnayed a Psycho 4 that would follow this one because of the box office on it, but they would eventually there would eventually be what happened with the Psycho 4 Showtime movie.
Well, they also tried another site. They tried like a Bates Motel anthology series.
There was
3 and 4 also.
Well, no, it was going to be a Bates Motel series on TV. There's a pilot, and it didn't get picked up. So
that's like
I don't know if it was going to be anthology, but
it was going to be different people checking into the hotel every week.
Okay,
That'll be the thing. Yeah,
gotcha. So there's like another actor who played Norman Bates.
Yes.
So before that happened.
Ironically, it was Jon Favreau. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, very fun. So, Scott, craziness here as we head to the box office. We have four new movies, and
it's not a good weekend for new releases.
No.
5 new movies. We'll just talk about one of them next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But anyway, let me just run down the list as is. The Karate Kid Part 2 earned $6.3 million in its third weekend, dropping 29%. It had earned $40.7 million in 17 days of release. Ruthless People added 3 screens to 1,114 and went up 0.2% in its second weekend for a $5.3 million total in 10 days. Back to School, $5 million, minus 26% in its fourth weekend, playing in 1,746 theaters. That is more than anything else in the top whatever at this point.
Plenty of respect.
Including Oprah. Yeah. It has made, did I already say it's 43 million? 43.4 in 24 days of release. Top Gun, in its 8th weekend, would drop just 8% while losing 99 screens. It's still in 1,386 theaters, which is the third biggest of the top whatever. It would earn $4.6 million in its 8th weekend, 80.5 after whatever 8 times 7 is.
56.
Whatever.
56.
Yeah, 56 minus whatever. Anyway, after about 2 weeks, give or take, or 2 months, give or take. Legal Eagles, $4.35 million. It's still around. Yeah.
Shoot that bird out of the sky.
It's the anti-American made.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Remember we were all rooting
Legal
for that
Eagles?
American made, where we were like kept seeing it, like, oh, look at it doing well. Look at that one hanging around. And then Legal Eagles is like, get out of here.
Stop.
Fuck off.
Stop
Stop
this.
making money.
I thought you meant the Tom Cruise movie. I was very confused.
No, the Ted Danson, referring to our own canon here.
Yes. Yeah.
No, that one's called Made in America.
Made in America. Sorry. Made in America. Sorry. That's what I was talking.
Very
Wow.
different movies.
There we go.
One of
I
which
got
was
what
not
you were
about
doing.
Tom Cruise.
Made in America. You should have
I'm
corrected
sorry.
me, Aaron. Jesus.
Yeah, but we're talking about Top Gun, and then you start talking about the last not an action movie that Tom Cruise ever made. But anyway.
Luckily, I said
Legal Eagles,
dancing, and it all made
4.4 million.
sense.
4.4 million in weekend 3, minus 28%. 26.1 million after 17 days. Running Scared dropped just 20% in its second weekend. $4.2 million for a $12.5 million 10-day total. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, $3.4 million, minus 22%, for a $33.1 million 24-day total. And now, finally, in 8th place, we're getting to new releases. Yes, rank is trivia. Rank does not matter, but this is still kind of the opposite of impressive is unimpressive. Psycho 3, opening in 1,408 theaters, would earn just $3.2 million. It would leg out to only, I think it was $14.4 million in North America. I believe Psycho 2 did like $38 million domestic.
2 was a hit. 2 was like one of the biggest hits of the summer.
It was that curiosity, like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. People only curious once. As Lisa likes to say on my pod, same as it ever was, same as it ever was.
Mm-hmm.
The Great Mouse Detective, $3.2 million in 1,338 screens. Obviously not a great opening, but it's going to leg out. It'll eventually get to $25 million in North America, 50 worldwide at a 14 budget. So yeah, this is the film that does well enough to give Katzenberg, who has just come in as the big boss, so to speak, like, look, we're done fucking around with our animation. Let's get serious about it again.
And it's lucky because there's nothing else out there. So what else are you taking the kids to? There's not even a kids Karate Kid 2.
Kids love Legals. Yeah. I mean,
that's what's happening.
Exactly. Yeah, you couldn't in the 90s. You couldn't walk 2 steps without seeing a kid wearing a Legal Eagles T-shirt. Let me tell you,
kids are buying tickets to back to school to go see Legal Eagles.
Kids were seeing a river. What's the
Start over?
What's the Redford River movie? Is it River Runs Through It?
A river runs through it.
Kids were saying a river runs through it just to get a taste of what it was like to see Legal Eagles back in the day.
I mean, Brad Pitt and Brian Dennehy are almost the same person.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the Great Mouse Detective is the movie that basically saved Disney animation in the 80s. Because it's fucking awesome, but I digress.
Did they think that opening weekend? Like, oh no.
I think even then they probably knew that it was going to stick around a while, but I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
About Last Night would earn $3.1 million in 642 screens. 642 screens. However, it would leg out to $38.7 million in North America.
Oh, it's going to open wider, more screens, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Well, I don't think it gets any wider than 880 screens. Oh. So it just sticks around for 887 was the peak in weekend 6. But looking at this, I mean,
there's nothing like it in the theaters too. So it's kind of like a Great Mouse Detective. It's kind of the only game in town.
It needed more Cave. It needed more Kevin Hart though. That was the problem.
Right. Always. Out of curiosity, because I've never seen the remake, just because I wasn't big on the original, so it was like whatever. Would you argue that one's a bit franker in a way that's more faithful to the play?
No, like it's less. Fair. Like by comparison, no. But I do think it's more palatable as a film than it is as a theatrical adaptation.
Curious.
Yeah.
Just Psycho 3.
Good chemistry, possibly.
Which I already did again. Oh, wait, fuck. Under the Cherry Moon, $3.1 million in 976 theaters, courtesy of Paramount. It would eventually leg out to a whopping $10 million. Alas. But wait, there's more. Big Trouble in Little China, 1,053 theaters, a mere $2.7 million in North America. It would not leg out. It would earn just $11.1 million on a $25 million budget, give or take. So It was a pretty big bomb, even by mid '80s standards.
Big Trouble in Big
Critics liked
Studio.
it too. That was the other thing. Critics enjoyed it. Like they're like convinced.
It was
like,
mixed, but yeah,
it was for Carpenter standards. It was doing pretty good. Like,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
Remember they hated The Thing, so I mean, like it's a step up for him.
Yeah, but he had
I remember when
he had
Under
Christine
Siege
in
came
between
out.
Thing and this, or he had,
Oh, yeah.
and Starman, which Christine was. So he had Christine, Starman, and We'll Let You Make This, basically.
When Under Siege came out in September 1992, it got better reviews than usual for a Steven Seagal film, obviously. But I love that, like, one of the pool quotes in the commercials was just enjoyable. Like, I know there are better. I've read more positive reviews than that. You didn't have to.
That's like your quote for Dark Tower. I watched it.
Oh yeah. Yes. That's not as bad as the pull quotes that I always hate, which are like objective statements. Where like Drew Barrymore is Cinderella. It's like that's a fact. And that movie got great reviews. You could have found something better. It's not like you were grasping at straws here. But anyway, that's one of my lifelong pet peeves. Like, look, there are people, including me, that love Steven Spielberg's AI. You don't have to use as your big cool quote. It's an epic, a fable. Like, yes, that is correct. It's a whole subgenre. I ought to track some more of these down.
If you love special effects, this one has them.
Yeah.
Spielberg
at his best. Oh, I'm not seeing it. I like him at his worst. Like
Spielberg's back.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's 1993.
He showed up.
Anytime
it's late 2011, so previews for Tintin. It's like Spielberg's back from last week. It's awesome. Warhorse was great. Okay.
Every time there's a spy action movie, better than Bond.
Yeah, always
better than Bond.
Yeah. It was true at the time. Let's see. If We Care, number 13's Labyrinth in weekend 2, earning a whopping $1.8 million, dropping 48%. That's pretty harsh for the 80s. And American Anthem dropping 63%. Shit. For a $689,000 weekend, it would earn a whopping $3.6 million in 10 days. And that's all she wrote.
Ooh. So we got a lot of movies with the over the million mark now in the box office, but that's not good for the new ones when they're at the bottom of it. So
isn't.
Yeah, sure isn't. Which, you know, it's funny that the Psycho 3 making like 14 million and them calling it quits on the franchise. That's like where the, mediocre Friday the 13th number is.
Mm-hmm.
Those costs probably cheaper, but
those are doing well. That's the
right.
ratios are off there.
Right. So
if they made it 3D, maybe that would have helped out for old Anthony Perkins.
True.
I can hear you.
All right. Well, that'll do it for our beginning of the second half of the summer of 86 at 40. Till next week, where can people keep up with you, Aaron?
Everything I do can be found on my personal blog, thecodeofzeke.substack.com. I am the writer for We Live Entertainment. You can find movie reviews there. I co-host the podcast Out Now with Aaron and Abe. I talk about movies with my friend Abe and other film critics and film fans on a weekly basis there. And there's the award-winning Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla. Releases every 2 weeks. My friend and fellow film critic Terrence Johnson and I talk about the Godzilla films in chronological order. And I'm on all the socials at Aaron's PS4.
All right, Scott.
I'm a semi-regular contributor to Puck News. I also write, run, and maintain the Outside Scoop at Substack. I also host a weekly podcast called The Box Office Podcast with myself, with Jeremy Fooster, Lisa Lehman, and usually one or two or three other guests, all of whom are younger, cooler, and or more culturally relevant box office pundits and or film scholars, as we discuss what happened the previous weekend at a theater near you. We found wherever podcasts are found. And I'm on all the socials and some variation of Scott Mendelson.
All right, and I'm on the socials at Brandon 4KUHD. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can watch the summer of 86 at 40, as well as my 4K Blu-ray and DVD reviews. I'll be appearing Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, July 17th through 19th. what I'm doing, what days and times. You'll have to check the social media.
That's my business.
I am, yeah.
Tell you, but then I have to kill you.
Yeah, I at this time of recording, it is many months ahead of that, and I am not sure. And then also, I will be at Long Island Long Island, New York, August 14th through 16th. Part of Starry Night Productions, continuing our documentary work there, as well as signing copies of Fantastic, a celebration of fans discovering Doctor Who. So if you're there, say hey. Have me scribble in your book. That's fine. I can't wait to see everybody there, meet new people, and enjoy the time. So next week, A Miracle at Club Paradise. Your sister is a werewolf howling under the cherry moon. All that and more as the summer of 86 at 40 continues.
Summer, summer